All right, volleyball parents, let's get right into it. The new 2025-2026 OVA rulebook is out, and we're going to break down everything you need to know for the girls TLS and 15U divisions. My goal here is to cut through all the technical jargon and make sure you walk away feeling confident about the season ahead.
Yeah, I get it. Looking at those official documents can feel like trying to read a different language, right? They're packed with details and acronyms. So what we're going to do is just focus on the stuff that really impacts your athlete, so you understand not just what the rules are, but more importantly, why they're in place. So here's our game plan. First, we'll look at the philosophy behind all these changes. Then we'll zoom in on the specifics for TLS and 15U. And we'll wrap up with this super simple checklist of the off-court stuff that every single parent needs to know. Okay, let's start with the big picture. Before we get bogged down in specific rules, it's so important to understand the thinking that drives these changes. It's really all about creating a positive, healthy environment for our kids in the long run. This quote really says it all, doesn't it? The OVA has built these rules to focus on fun, teamwork, and personal growth. The whole idea is that a love for the game is way more important for future success than just winning a bunch of medals at a young age. And this is exactly why there's such a big emphasis on delaying specialization. Pushing kids to focus on one position and winning too early can lead to things like burnout, overuse injuries, and honestly, just a loss of motivation. These rules are designed to prevent that. Okay, so let's see how this all works on the court. We're starting with the traditional Limited Specialization Division, or TLS. You might remember this as 14U. This is really the first step into competitive volleyball. This table gives a great snapshot. The net height is 2.15 meters, which is just right for this age group. Substitutions are all about fair play, which is awesome because it means every player is guaranteed to get meaningful time on the court. You'll notice there's no libero. That's on purpose, to make sure everyone learns how to play all around. And this one's key. Receiving a serve with an overhand pass is a fault. It's all about building a rock-solid foundation in forearm passing. The season itself is built for development. There are 4 main events, and right at the start, teams get to place themselves in a tier. This helps make sure the games are competitive from day one. And get this, the points from the early Provincial Cup don't even count toward championship seeding. That really takes the pressure off and puts the focus squarely on getting better. Then, later in the season, teams get moved around based on how they're doing to keep things fair. Now, how they handle specialization is really smart. The first 2 tournaments are all position, where teams run a 6-6 system, meaning everyone gets a shot at different spots. Then, as the season goes on, they introduce a little more strategy with limited specialization. But here's the crucial part. The 5-1 system, where you have one main setter, is not allowed. It's all about making sure every player becomes well-rounded. And you gotta love this rule, a 5-serve max per player. This isn't just a random number. It's there to stop one super strong server from just ending the game. It creates more rallies, gets more players involved, and just makes the game more fun and dynamic for everybody. 2 quick updates for this season that you should know about. First, parents and team volunteers are now going to be the official scorers and linespersons. This takes that job off the players' plates. And second, teams won't switch sides of the court between sets anymore unless a ref thinks one side has a really obvious advantage. All right, let's level up. If TLS is about building that solid foundation, then 15U is where the players start to put all those pieces together in a more strategic way. It's the bridge between those early developmental years and the more traditional game. This chart shows the progression perfectly. The net goes up a little bit to 2.20 meters. A big change? Players can now use an overhead pass on serve receive, which really opens up the offense. And notice that the fair play rule now only applies to pool play. Once you get to the playoffs, coaching strategy starts to play a much bigger role. You can see the developmental training wheels are slowly starting to come off. So, what replaces fair play? It's the 12 limited substitution rule. It's pretty simple. Each player can come into the game once and leave the game once per set. What this means for you on the sidelines is that you'll see coaches making more strategic moves, but it's still structured to make sure the players on the bench get their time on the court. Okay, we've covered all the on-court action. Let's switch gears and talk about the essential off-court stuff that every single parent has to take care of, no matter what age group your child is in. Here it is, your simple 3-step checklist to get everything sorted. Number 1, register your athlete in the Membership Registration System, or MRS. Number 2, pay the full membership fee, and number 3, one parent or guardian has to complete the mandatory Respect in Sport online course. Easy as 1, 2, 3. So you can plan ahead. Here's the number you need to know. The total competitive membership fee for the upcoming season, with all taxes and fees included, is $101.41. And last but not least, that mandatory Respect in Sport course for parents costs just $12. And remember, the deadline is either November 30th or before your child's very first tournament. It's a really small investment in making sure we have a positive and supportive environment for everyone. So, we have covered a ton of ground, from the big picture philosophy to the little details on the court. I really hope you're feeling more prepared for the season. Which leads to one last question to think about. Now that you know the what and the why behind all these rules, how can you use that knowledge to best support not just your athletes' skills, but more importantly, their lifelong love for this amazing game?